never be a memory.
And what's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. I'm just coming off of watching the latest Pete Buttigieg rally. It didn't go so well.
That we missed it in the program.
People walking out.
Look who's leaving, all the black people.
Oh, that's good shit. Yeah, fear not. For all the people worried about Pete Buttigieg, and that's how we're going to kick this shit off. Fear not. He doesn't have a clear path to victory. He performed well in Iowa. Maybe. We really don't know the results. He'll probably do decent in New Hampshire. But then he's kaputs from there. He has like 0% of the black vote. Pete's done in Harlem. But what I wanted to talk about was the New Hampshire debate we just had. And Yang did well. Yang did pretty well. But honestly, I'm sort of tapped out. I'm sort of done with the debates. I'm kind of over them at this point. What is this, number 8? We've had 8 debates. And, at one point, what was it, the 7th one? Yang tried to get into the debate, and they fucking didn't let him. Right? He tried to get into the debate. I think he wrote a petition, and people signed it, and he wrote them letters, and they didn't budge. But then Michael Bloomberg gave the DNC $1 million. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, $1 million. The DNC has 3 different branches. He gave them $105,000 apiece, and then he gave a whole different wing of the DNC the rest of the money, $800,000. And then lo and behold, what? You want to come in the debate? Okay, we'll let you in the debate. It's okay. You can come in the debate. It's fine. It's fine. No wonder people want Tom Perez to step down. So, look, not too thrilled with the DNC. The debates are not beginning to be a joke, but they are a joke. We're just going to let Bloomberg on. When Cory Booker had his complaints, you guys are like, I don't want to fucking hear that. When Tulsi Gabbard had her complaints, I don't want to fucking hear that. Andrewyang had his complaints, I don't want to fucking hear that. Bloomberg, money, they're like, come on, fuck out of here. So the debates are whatevsville to me right now. But that doesn't take away from the messages and the message that Andrewyang had during the debate. So I think it's Gunther Snaps did a sort of everything Andrewyang said. And look, I'm not going to touch upon every single thing that he said, but he did mention some things that I thought we could talk about here. So let's do that.
Fundamentally, you are missing the lesson of Donald Trump's victory. Donald Trump is not the cause of all of our problems, and we're making a mistake when we act like he is.
That's right.
He is a symptom of a disease that has been building up in our communities for years and decades, and it is our job to get to the harder work of actually curing the disease. Most Americans feel like the political parties have been playing you lose, I lose, you lose, I lose for years, and you know who's been losing this entire time? We have. Our communities have. Our communities' way of life is disintegrating beneath our feet. That's why Iowa, a traditional swing state, went to Trump by almost 10 points. That's why Ohio, a traditional swing state, is now so red that I'm told we're not even going to campaign there. So these communities are seeing their way of life get blasted into smithereens. We've automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs and counting. We're closing 30% of New Hampshire stores and malls, and Amazon, the force behind that, is literally paying 0 in taxes. These are the changes that Americans are seeing and feeling around us every day, and if we get to the hard work of curing those problems, we will not just defeat Donald Trump in the fall, but we'll actually be able to move our communities forward.
I know we're going to hear a lot more on this.
Donald Trump is not the cause of our problems, and we're making a mistake when he acts like he is. One of the truest things that I've heard at these debates, and this isn't the first time he said this. This isn't the first time he's put that message out there. But The Democrats don't like hearing that. They like placating this anti-Trump. It's all about beating Trump. Trump bad, we good. And it's bullshit. Like Nancy Pelosi ripping up the fucking speech, and it was all theatrics, right? It's just so she can get that social media clout. All throughout social media for those 2 days, I heard, "Go sister, go! Look at her standing up. Go sister." She's not standing up. She's giving the man everything he wants as far as policy goes. She's passing everything. But see, the Johnny Know Nothings and the Susan Know Nothings, they don't know anything. And so it's all the surface level shit that they care about, how it's projected, how it looks. But they never want to look into what actually is going on. They don't know. All those people praising Nancy Pelosi don't know. She's literally passing all of his shit. Right? She's fine with the military budget. She's fine with this. She's fine with that. But she ripped up a speech. Ugh. So, look. Donald Trump is a symptom of what was wrong. And they're trying to get rid of Trump and not fix what caused him to be there to begin with. And part of the reason that is because the system benefits them. See, Donald Trump was the ugly side of the system. It got a little too toxic, right? It got a little too toxic. It's like a fucking coffee pot, right? You need to clean that shit out every so often. So a lot of people are fine with their coffee pot. Oh, it's a little stain. Oh, the inside's... they just leave it. It's fine. I'll still keep drinking out of this coffee pot. And then at some point, it's just, what the fuck is this? Right? Trump is the what the fuck is this? Right? Now you want to clean the coffee pot. We got to clean that fucking coffee pot. But you know what? You're only going to clean it that once. You're not going to get a new filter. You're not going to get a new pot. You're just going to clean it once and then let it do the same shit over again and have another filthy fucking coffee pot. Now I want coffee. But Andrew Yang recognizes this, and he wants to fix the problem so that we don't have another Donald Trump. But unfortunately for Andrew Yang, we hear that. We hear that. The establishment, they don't care. They don't care. They're going to do what benefits them. So I thought he made a really good point here. And us as the people, we hear it. And the fact that he keeps hammering that in, he said it on I think he said it on Hot 97. He says it in a lot of interviews. The more he hammers that in, the more it starts to sink in with people. So I'm glad he mentioned it.
Yang, you've said you would decriminalize opioids, but you've also said that you would require all overdose patients to go to mandatory treatment centers for 3 days. Well, right now in New Hampshire, there aren't enough beds in treatment centers and across the country. How would you make sure treatment is available for all overdose patients, and what would you do to fill the gap in the meantime?
That's what we have to change, Monica. I've heard heartbreaking stories from families here in New Hampshire that have been destroyed, torn apart by the opiate epidemic. And you have to look at the companies that profited to the tune of tens of billions of dollars in profits of essentially blood money. As president, we will take back those profits and put them to work right here in New Hampshire so that if you are seeking treatment, you have resources to be able to pursue it. This is not a money problem fundamentally, this is a human problem, but money cannot be the obstacle. This is something that happened on the government's watch. The government allowed this opiate epidemic to spread throughout our communities, and we have to do everything in our power to actually make sure that if you're seeking treatment, you know you're not going to be sent to jail. We have safe injection and safe consumption sites for you. If you have a family member who's struggling, you can refer them and know that they're not going to have criminal penalties as a result. There is so much about this that's endemic to what's happened throughout the country in terms of companies running amok, this hyper-corporate capitalism where if money's on one side in this country and people are on the other side, the money is winning. You can see it with the opiate epidemic. You can see it with the military-industrial complex, the fossil fuel companies. This is what we must change, and that's where I'll lead as president.
Senator.
So probably, I mean, UBI aside, one of the most progressive things Yang is about is the decriminalization of drugs, specifically opioids, obviously marijuana and things like that, and the mandatory treatment, 3-day mandatory treatment. Incredibly progressive. Actually, he actually is to the left of Bernie on this, which there's not many things people can say they're to the left of Bernie on, but this is one of them. Bernie's vehemently against, decriminalization of drugs. He's, quote, not there yet. So, and this is a strong stance because I think he's the only one on that stage. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I think he's the only one that is for decriminalization of most drugs. Not all, but most. Whereas everyone else is just now coming around to marijuana. So, big ups to Yang on this. I love the fact that this is where his mindset is at, and it works. He's using the Portugal model, and it shows it works. I don't see why it wouldn't work over here. You have to at least give it a shot, right? At least try it. You can't say what's going on now is working, right? So if it's not working now, it's not if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is broke, so it needs to be fixed. So I liked what he said about that. It was dope. It makes sense. I don't think they gave him too much pushback on it either. And I think most people align with what he is shooting for here, the decriminalization of most drugs.
Respect, you can't regulate away racism with a whole patchwork of laws that are race specific. What we have to do is heed the writings of Martin Luther King, whose birthday we just celebrated. He said that capitalism forgets that life is social, and what he was championing was a guaranteed minimum income for all Americans of $1,000 a month or more that would end up reshaping our economy in communities of color, make it so that black net worth is not 10% of white net worth in this country, which is the most important number of them all. We can't regulate that away through any other means except by putting money directly into the hands of African Americans and Latinos and people of color to allow businesses to actually flourish and grow in those communities. The only way that will happen is if Black and Latino consumers have buying power, and that is where we have to move as a country.
Mr. Yang, take on that argument and also what he said about reparations.
The median African-American household net worth is projected to be 0 by 2053. Things are not getting better for people of color. If anything, they're getting worse because we're in the process of eliminating the most common jobs in our economy. It's something of an economic unnatural disaster, and who suffers most in a natural disaster? People of color, people with lower levels of capital and access to opportunity and education. And while I know we love to champion education here as Democrats, only 33% of Americans are going to attend college. Lower percentage of African Americans. There is no way we can prevent this tsunami from wiping out African American net worth unless we put straight cash into their hands sometime between now and 2053. And it's not just them. It is truck drivers, it is retail clerks, it is call center workers, it is accountants, it is bookkeepers. We are in the midst of the greatest economic transformation in the history of our country, and it's going to hit Black people the hardest. We have to stop nibbling at the edges and actually start solving the real problem.
We've been getting a lot of questions.
So then reparations. Why the fuck do they even keep talking about this? This is so fucking annoying and frustrating. I'm looking you dead in the fucking eye. Look, reparations is not happening. Stop talking about it. Stop asking for it. It's not happening. It's just a pander question. It's just something to go throw it out there to be like, see, look, Black people, see, we're talking about you. It's not going to happen. At least not in our lifetime. It's not happening. Stop asking about reparations. It's fucking pointless. It's not happening. Until someone comes out with how much African Americans are getting, who gets it, do mixed children get it? If your dad's Black and your mom's white, do you get it too? Do you get half? Do you get a third? How much does an African American get? None of us were alive during those slave times. Most of us weren't alive during those slave times. If you were alive and you happen to still be here, do you get more than the rest of us? Do we get less? Like, it's just, it's fucking, you got a guy here trying to give every American $1,000 a month. And us as African Americans are saying, But what about what it just about me? What about just us? Like, okay, yeah, that's for everybody, but what about us? Like, dude, get the fucking $1,000. Take the $1,000. Take the $1,000, and then if you want to ask about reparations, go ahead. At least you're getting $1,000 extra to your household. Dude's trying to give you a G a month, and you're like, yeah, I understand you're trying to give me $1,000, but what about this reparations shit? Yeah. Take the $1,000 and then focus on reparations, which I don't see any way it's happening. I just don't. You had a black president. You had Barack Hussein Obama. You didn't get any fucking reparations. It's not happening. Stop letting these people pander to you. Hillary Clinton pulls hot sauce bottles out of her fucking pocketbook, right? These people pander to you, and they want you to behave like puppets on a string, and they'll be like, reparations, and they don't even fucking mean it. Cory Booker was talking about baby bonds. He wasn't even talking about reparations. Nobody has a plan, a legitimate plan. Not even Marianne Williamson, who I believe is genuinely for reparations, has a specific plan for reparations. I need to know how you're going to divvy this shit out and how much. How much? How are you going to determine how much the suffering of black people is going to equate to money in this day and age? How much are you going to give us? And for how long? Is it for the rest of our lives? Is it a one-time payment? You want to give us as much as a Disney Plus subscription? Like, what the fuck? There is no plan. There is no plan. Stop asking about reparations. Stop it. It's not happening. You're living in a dream. It's a fairy tale question. Reparations is not happening. Like, you're literally not listening to the guy trying to give you $1,000 a month, and you're asking for reparations. And, you know, them asking him the question about reparations, it's just pandering. You don't see it, but it's pandering. It's pandering. They know, the hosts asking about this know it's not happening. They know it's not happening. But they're putting it out there so black people are at home, they're like, oh, yeah, reparations, yeah, what about that? It's not happening. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Who may be watching right now, the late Cokie Roberts. Cokie loved the New Hampshire primary, and she asked the candidates in this Republican debate, how will we overcome the scandal of 1/4 of American preschoolers living in poverty in the richest nation on earth? Today, nearly 1 in 5 American preschoolers are still living below the poverty line, even though we've had 10 straight years of economic growth. What does that say to you about where America is today and what we need to do about it?
George, we're in the midst of the most extreme winner-take-all economy in the history of our country. And unfortunately, that extremity is just going to reach unprecedented heights as technology is getting stronger, smarter, more capable all the time. And most of us are not. Most adults feel happy if we stayed about the same on any given day. So if we want to alleviate child poverty, we need to put money directly into the hands of families, particularly single parents. 40% of American children today are born to single moms. 90% of single parents are single moms. And right now, we have fallen into this trap where we have allowed the market to tell us what we are all worth. And what does the market value my wife Evelyn at, or stay-at-home parents around the country? 0. Caregivers taking care of ailing loved ones, like Carl Christensen in Iowa. 0. Volunteers and activists in our communities trying to do something positive. 0. Coaches and mentors helping our kids. 0. Most artists, sorry artists, but it's true. 0. Increasingly local journalists, which is wiping out our ability to have a functioning democracy because you can't vote on something if you actually don't have any news coverage. The mission in this campaign has to be for us to disentangle economic value and human value, say they are not the same things, and make this case to our fellow Americans that we each have intrinsic value as citizens, as human beings, and as owners and shareholders of the richest country in the history of the world.
Child poverty. Look, you can go on about this forever. I think child poverty goes hand in hand with, obviously, adult poverty. Wages are stagnant. Half of America makes $30,000 or less. 75% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. I just watched a kid sell bracelets and acquire $4,000 and paid off his student lunch debt for all the students, actually, in his school. And I think these are like elementary schoolers. They shouldn't have a student lunch debt. Why is there a debt? Why? The school lunches should be fucking free.
School lunch debt for everybody at his school in the second grade and students at 6 other schools. Kiani Ching, how did you do this? Of Vancouver, Washington, raised more than $4,000 selling special bracelets. His principal says the 8-year-old just wanted to do something to celebrate the school's Kindness Week. What a fabulous idea.
He wanted to do something that was kind, and he started it outside of the Kindness Week. So it really turned into a situation where he's taking an act of kindness and then doing it the year round.
I'm told that he charged $5 for the bracelets. That's a lot of bracelets. About $500 is left over from the donation, and now it's going to be used to cover future lunch debts.
Why? The school lunches should be fucking free. So there's a lot of problems. And he said there's been economic growth. Yeah, but wages have been stagnant. And you can make as many jobs as you want. Create as many jobs as you want. They're low-wage fucking jobs. So, look, some people, support a minimum wage. Some people support universal basic income, which Yang's version of universal basic income, because he's not the only person that has suggested this. But Yang's version would be potentially a $6 increase. So, I mean, Yang gave a good answer here. But child poverty goes hand in hand with fucking adult poverty and poverty in general. I think he should have just asked about poverty in general. And what's your way to fix it? And obviously, universal basic income. The thing he started or jump-started his campaign with. So, kind of a silly question. It's interesting seeing these guys ask about poverty. This guy's fucking filthy rich. But, I mean, Yang gave a solid answer on this. I dug it. So, yeah, I think I'll end it there. Again, you can watch the whole Gunther Snaps video. I'll leave a link in the description, and you can watch his Everything Andrew Yang Said video. Again, he did a good job, but at this point, I'm sort of like, I'm done with the debates. All I can do is ask America, ask people, if you want to get out of the situation that you're in, if you truly want to change the situation you're in, if you truly want to unite with your fellow brethren, if you want Republicans and Democrats to come together, if you want to get out of the financial situation you're in, if you want progress, if you want to get over these humps that are hitting us because of technology, because of automation, because of online. Brick and mortar is literally in competition with itself because online, right? I'm not going to say any names of the jobs, but online is having better deals in the same company, better deals, more product than you could ever fit in the store, and they're literally taken away from the brick and mortar stores. And they also don't let you do the same deals they have online in the store. It's insanity. So look, give Andrew Yang a chance. I know we're in the middle of, the primaries, and it's all culminating at this point. And I love the fact that I go on Twitter and I see people really impressed with Andrew Yang. I'm happy he's still bringing some people over. But really, really, I implore you, I encourage you to listen to what this man has to say and give him a shot. I'm telling you. Or we can have 4 more years of Trump. which, you know, he's a funny guy, so maybe the humor will get you through the 4 years. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. I have a Cash App, a PayPal, and a Venmo link in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel. Every bit helps. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out its prayer. Why are we so ashamed to be alive? Break the chains and I feel